I think he needs a little bit of energy, so we're gonna do a drop off here. He didn't catch it. Now some might say that was a bad throw, but as a combine driver, you don't do anything wrong. It's always the grain cart driver's fault.
Well, I was going to start off this video, good morning from sunny, beautiful Colorado, but as you can see, it's kind of like Iowa, so can't really do it like that. But we're combining corn, Colorado, and we thought we would show you our operation a little bit more. So I don't know if you guys remember me at all or not, but I'm Thomas's cousin Troy from Colorado. You recently saw Noah in one of Thomas's videos out there in Iowa, but we decided we would help Thomas kind of show our organic operation in both states. So today me and Noah both are kind of going to bring you guys along and show you how we're combining corn in Colorado, and maybe make some points of the differences between our farm in Colorado and our farm in Iowa. So we have an S770 with an 8-row corn head, and we have a 8R250 that we're using on our grain cart. The corn on these edges isn't doing as good because it's end gun corn, just on the end rows here, but going through the field I think it's been averaging about 250, and yeah. We'll get the drone up here once the fog lets up a little bit and get some good drone shots of the combine and the grain cart both. But we're using this handy dandy machine sink. I know Noah had showed you guys he got it set up in their combines in Iowa, but we've been using it for a while here in Colorado. Makes it so much easier to take videos when you're in the grain cart, and I'll just let the guy in the combine do all the work, because why would I, you know? So I know Noah showed what the machine sink was like in the combine, but I'll kind of show what it's like in the grain cart. So if you pull up under the combine's auger, on this screen here, it has the orange box right beside the combine, and there's a little picture of a house, and that's the spot where they have their where the combine has its set spot for the grain cart. So then you pull up under it at about 6 miles an hour, you hit your auto steer button, and it automatically connects. It slows you down and steers you whichever way to set you right at that home point, and then the entire time you're just sitting at that home point, and he can nudge you forward or back, but you're already kind of in the right spot for being centered with the auger right in the middle, so you don't need to go sideways or backwards. You can nudge it either way with the grain cart as well, but we just leave that to the combine guy so he doesn't get angry, you know? So we're organic out here in Colorado as well, and obviously the main thing with being organic is weed control and not spraying for pesticides or anything to kill off all your weeds. So if you look down this row, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell when it's combine. It's a little better view from in the combine while you're going, but there's not much for weeds in this field. It's better ground than our other stuff back kind of closer to the farm. It's more of a harder clay, and this field was also hay right before we did corn, so that helped a bunch. But our other fields back by the farm are pretty sandy fields, so it's a little harder to get you know, exactly how you want the weed control. But this field, it obviously worked really well. So we'll show you more videos here coming up on the laser weeder, because we're going to be pulling it out soon. But you know, it's been a real struggle to get weeds or the weed control how we want it to be, but we're really getting it close to how we want it to be. So here's the combine coming towards me. Auger out for I don't know what reason, but well, sorry you guys, I had to set you down for a while there because I actually had to do something while we were getting going this morning. But now we kind of got a good rotation with the trucks a little bit, and we're just finally breaking through with the combine. And I'll follow him out. He'll make it half the way, probably 3/4 maybe, and then he'll have to dump off on me, so I'll have to cut over a couple passes right there in the middle, and then I'll pull up under him. He'll dump and then head back the other way. But another thing that I haven't really mentioned a lot is we like to get all of our corn out. And I mean, it's probably the same way with everyone else. But we like to make sure we don't miss a single thing. And not this field, but the field right next to this that we own was corn last year. And it was transitioning into organic. It's organic now, but it wasn't last year. And so we chopped it. Well, I don't know how many of you guys saw the video, but I had to take matters into my own hands because the chopper guys didn't do as good of a job as we wanted them to, and missed a bunch of corn stalks. Thomas will pop the video in right here.
And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
RKO! Here's the cover, hook of the line, and the legend killer picks up the victory.
We're just making sure that we get everything now when we're doing this field right next to it. Just making sure we get every corn stalk. Field completely clean. And that's how we like it. I don't know if you guys can see that, really. That might be in the way. But I'm just going to try and get a good clip of unloading onto the trucks. And then another one of the combine unloading onto me. But I guess we'll see. We might have to figure out some better mounting stuff. But right here is just our armrest controls. Number 2 is tilt our auger up. Number 3 is our gate. You can open it from 1 all the way to 10. We like to run it at about 6 to 8 usually in corn. And then number 4 is our tilt of the auger. That way we can get it as close to the center of the truck as we want, and then just fill it exactly how we want it. So I really like the tilt. Our last grain cart didn't have that, and it's really helpful.
Welcome back to the combine cab here, and like Troy said, we are finishing up corn harvest here out in Colorado for 2023. We're on the last field here, and it's probably our best overall farm. Like Troy was saying, it has more of a clay, heavy dirt, and out here in Colorado where we farm, some of the ground's pretty sandy, like he was saying, so it's an uneven crop. So we'll have places in that farm averaging 250, and then you drive on top of the hill and it'll average 100. So this one's more of a balanced and even farm, and you can see, I don't know how well you can see, I guess, but all the corn's pretty even across. His window's a little bit dirty, but since we're on the last field here, we're probably not going to clean the windows. We'll just get her done. Now I know some of you watching are farmers, and you might think that this corn looks a little green and probably not ready to combine, but the corn's actually averaging about 24, 23. Well, I just went through where a nozzle was plugged, but it's down there. You know, it doesn't get above 25% very often. We do have a dryer out here, so we're going to dry it anyway. We also have some bad weather coming in this weekend, So we wanted to get it out of the field. You know, in the bin, it's not going to go anywhere, but if we leave it out in the field and we get a windstorm come through, it might all be on the ground, so we'd rather be safe than sorry. Like Troy was saying, or I think he said it, we do irrigate everything out here. You can kind of see there's a brown spot that works in a circle. That means one of the nozzles on the irrigator was plugged, either all summer or part of it, so then that corn doesn't get watered, and you can actually see it on yield maps, the circle it'll make around where it's not getting water. Out here, we don't get a ton of rain, so we, like I said, everything we plant to corn, we do irrigate. There are some farmers further eastern in Colorado that won't run pivots because there's no water, and they'll just plant a lower population on their corn fields. That way they can still plant something other than just wheat. So I'm pretty new at this whole YouTube thing. In fact, this is like the second video I've ever taken. So I don't know if I'm good or bad at it. I'm assuming not very good. But we want to try to be an informative channel here and teach people why we're farming this way and how we farm this way. So if you have any questions, just comment them on a video, and that'll be the best way for us to get you guys good videos, and videos where we're not just rambling on about kind of stupid things and sound like a bunch of doofuses out here. So please, if you have questions, just comment, and also like, subscribe to the channel. We can grow it and show more people, like I said, why we're doing it and how we're doing it. Also, we are fairly new to Colorado. My aunt and uncle moved out in 2012, so we haven't been farming here for a very long time. So if you do live in Colorado or kind of in our area, located in between Brighton and Greeley, Colorado, and have any farming experience or knowledge you would not mind sharing, just comment that in the video. Also, if you want to come out to our farm, just let us know that as well. We can make that happen. We're still learning, like I said, so if we're doing something, then you're like, well, you should not be doing that, or we should be doing that a different way. Well, we'd like to know so we can better ourselves as farmers as well. Here, me and Troy get caught up with the trucks and we're waiting on those. We'll jump out of the tractor and combine here. We can walk around the field a little bit and kind of show you guys the weed control we did out here, and maybe look at some corn while it's not combined. Now, before we get out of the combine here, because the trucks are actually keeping up, we can talk about a few of the main differences between our farm here in Colorado and in Iowa. For starters, we do grow a couple different crops out here. We still obviously grow corn, and then instead of oats, we grow winter wheat out here in Colorado. And we do plant some alfalfa that stays in alfalfa for 5 to 7 years. Oh boy, look at that. We got a plucked up head row there. See if we can just slow down, if it'll suck it through. Look at that. Speed back up and keep going on our way. So anyway, like I was saying, we do grow winter wheat instead of oats, and then, yeah, some alfalfa that will stay in alfalfa for 5 to 7 years, depending on how the stand looks after, that many years. It can start to get a little beat up. And then we do grow some edible beans with some neighbors that have the equipment to do that. That row on the head is plugged up a couple times here this morning, that same row. So I think when we get out, we'll maybe look underneath there and see if there's anything visually wrong with it. The corn is feeding through pretty good for how green it is, but I've had a few of the different rows plug up, which is not a big deal if you catch it right away, but if you're on your phone doing phone things, you might, drop a couple 100 yards and then it just starts pushing enough where you don't get any of the ear because it's just pushing over the corn. So it's always good to catch those right away. And for those of you that watch our channel and watch them farm back in Iowa, you'll notice I didn't say we grow any soybeans out here. We haven't in the past. We're thinking about trying some here this next spring. We have a field that was wheat this year that's not our best quality farm. The whole east half of it's literally all blow sand. The west half's a little bit better. So we were thinking about planting half of that pivot to soybeans and just seeing what they would do. In organic farming, the soybeans are a relatively cheap seed, and that's really your only input because you don't have to put any nitrogen in or any chicken litter. So we're thinking we might as well try it. We weren't going to plant that field of wheat again, and we probably, we really don't know if we'll have enough water to plant it to corn. And like I said, it's a lot of blow sand anyway, so we don't really want to waste our corn and nitrogen on that farm anyway. So if we can grow good soybeans, it would be a nice thing to have in our crop rotation out here anyway. Well, I got Troy full and there's not a truck here, so I figured now would be a good time to jump out of the combine, get a little more up close look at our cornfield here. You can see, well, I guess I'm about 6 foot tall, so I'd say the corn's almost 10 foot tall. The plant itself, which doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have good yielding corn, but we can look at some of these ears here. You can see they are filled out. I don't know how well you can see that. They're filled out to the tip pretty good. So then we can walk in here a little bit. You can see we do have a few weeds here, but nothing that's above the corn, and it's relatively for an organic cornfield. Walk out in there a little bit more. You can look down the row. You can't, not a huge difference between this field and a conventional field. Now, I haven't walked out in a conventional field in a long time. Actually, maybe I've never walked out in a conventional field. But we do take, we like our fields to be clean because if the field's clean, it usually boosts your yield. And this year, we were very blessed with good weather. You can see none of this field is blown over with wind or goosenecked at all. So it's combining very good as well. And then as far as not having rain out here, it's not really a big issue for us because we do run irrigators. So if it doesn't rain, it's really not a huge deal. We'll just run the irrigator a little bit more. But this year it actually did rain quite a bit this spring, so it helped. It doesn't hurt if it rains, but it's not as big a deal out here as it is in Iowa. In Iowa, if it doesn't rain, well, you're kind of just screwed. Out here, it's kind of it's almost just a bonus if you get rain. So, yeah, anyway, that's a little more up close look at the cornfield here in Colorado. You can see we're just working a land here in the middle. I'm sure you notice, if you watch the channel in Iowa, we do not run a chopping head out here. I don't know exactly the reason why, besides that when my uncle moved out here, I'm pretty sure this is an original corn head, and the combine we had then was not as big as this S770, so it takes more power to run a chopping head. Therefore, not having a chopping head, you don't have to have as big as combine. Well, we better jump back up in the combine here. I think the truck got here, so start combine, that way we're full when Troy gets empty. I'll talk a little bit here about why this field's maybe a little more clean than some of our other fields are. I think Troy did say in the video, it had been in hay for a few years, so that does help a lot in organic. If you leave it in hay for 3, 4, 5 years, you'll just keep those weeds mowed off with the hay, and eventually the hay will choke out all the weeds. And then when you switch back to corn, every time we've done it anyway, you have probably one of your best yielding cornfields, and very clean as well. Where it does not help very much and can be a little bit of a struggle is the ground gets pretty hard. So like last year we did deep rip this field, and I'm thinking we're going to do that again here before it goes back into wheat. We'll run I don't know what brand of ripper it is. It's not a disc ripper though, it's just an inline ripper. We'll run that over the field, and then maybe the VT or field cultivator, and then plant it into winter wheat here, probably within the next week, and we'll have a video on that as well. So if you keep watching our videos, you'll see us doing that. But yeah, running organic corn after it's been in alfalfa for a few years definitely is an advantage to weeds. It gets a pretty good yield. The disadvantage would be it does make the ground hard. There we have the grain cart driver, doing what they usually do, walking around, not doing a whole bunch of anything. I think he needs a little bit of energy, so we're gonna do a drop off here. You didn't catch it. Now some might say that was a bad throw, but as a combine driver, you don't do anything wrong. It's always the grain cart driver's fault. But I don't know if you can see that. He has his Red Bull anyway, so at the end of the day it all worked out. Well, it's time for a lunch break. That's another load down. I don't think we're gonna quite get done with this field today. Our wet tank's gonna get full, and we still have, we check here, we still have about 25 acres left, so we're probably gonna have to quit for the day here and then finish this field a couple days from now. Let the dryer dry through some of the corn in the wet tank, and then I'll finish knocking this cornfield out. Well, that's a full load there. It does not look like the truck's up there yet, so might be time for a bathroom break. And we are off again. That'll be it for the day. The wet tank got full, so I'm going to take this last truck home, and I think Troy's going to go run the disc ripper for the neighbor. So we'll check in with you next time. Remember to comment any of your questions, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.